What if one man's obsession with computers could change the world forever? This is the story of Bill Gates, a boy with a dream who grew up to create Microsoft, one of the most powerful technology companies in history. His journey didn't just stop at software. It stretched into global health, education, and fighting climate change. In this story, you will discover how Bill Gates transformed the way we use technology and how his vision pushed the boundaries of innovation. From coding in a school lab to leading a global movement for change, Gates's life is a testament to the power of big dreams and relentless ambition. Get ready to be inspired by the life of Bill Gates, a story of innovation, leadership, and the unyielding belief that technology can make the world a better place. Have you ever wondered how a simple fascination with computers could lead to building one of the biggest tech empires in the world? In the bustling city of Seattle, Washington, on October 28, 1955, a boy named William Henry Gates III was born. Most people would come to know him as Bill Gates. His father, William Gates Sr., was a prominent lawyer, and his mother, Mary Gates, was a businesswoman and philanthropist. From a young age, Gates showed signs of brilliance. He was an avid reader, devouring books faster than his parents could keep up with. His parents encouraged his curiosity, pushing him to explore his interests. It wasn't long before Gates discovered a passion that would change his life forever: computers. In 1968, Gates was just 13 years old when his school, Lakeside Prep, made a bold decision. The school's Mothers Club raised money to purchase a computer terminal, a rare and expensive machine at the time. Most schools didn't have computers, but Lakeside did. This was where Gates first laid his hands on a computer keyboard, and he was immediately hooked. He would spend hours in the computer lab learning how to program. It was here that he met another young student with the same passion, Paul Allen. Gates and Allen quickly became friends, bonding over their love for technology. Together, they would spend countless hours experimenting, coding, and dreaming about the possibilities of computers. The two of them wrote their first computer program at Lakeside. It was a simple game of tic-tac-toe, but it was just the beginning. Gates's obsession with computers grew stronger. He would often sneak out of his house at night just to use the computer at the University of Washington. His parents were worried about how much time he spent on computers, but Gates was determined. He knew that technology was his calling. By the time Gates was in high school, he was already writing computer programs for local companies. He even got a job with Paul Allen at a company called TRW during his senior year. The two friends would spend their days coding and solving problems, building their skills with every project. Gates's talent for programming was undeniable. He had a knack for understanding complex code, and his logical thinking set him apart from his peers. His teachers noticed his talent, and so did his friends. Gates wasn't just a tech genius, he was also a leader. He organized a group of students at Lakeside to learn coding and work on projects together. It was clear that Gates was destined for something big. His drive and passion for technology were unmatched. After graduating from high school, Gates set his sights on Harvard University. He enrolled in 1973, ready to pursue a career in law just like his father. But even at Harvard, Gates couldn't shake his obsession with computers. He spent more time in the computer lab than he did in the classroom. He would often skip classes just to work on his programming projects. His professors were surprised by his talent, but worried about his lack of focus on his studies. Gates, however, knew exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to build something revolutionary. It was during his time at Harvard that he reconnected with Paul Allen. The two of them began discussing the possibilities of creating software for the new wave of personal computers. In 1975, Gates and Allen made a decision that would change their lives. They dropped out of college and founded a company called Microsoft. Their vision was simple but bold: a computer on every desk and in every home. Many people thought they were crazy, but Gates didn't care. He believed that personal computers were the future, and he was determined to make that future a reality. Microsoft began as a small startup with big dreams. Gates and Allen set up their first office in Albuquerque, New Mexico, close to the headquarters of MITS, the company that created the Altair 8800, the first commercially successful personal computer. Gates and Allen had developed software for the Altair, and it became the first product Microsoft ever sold. It was called Altair Basic, a programming language that allowed users to write code for the machine. The success of Altair Basic gave Microsoft its first major breakthrough. It was proof that there was a demand for software in the growing world of personal computers. Gates's vision for Microsoft was clear from the very beginning. He wanted Microsoft software to be on every computer in the world. To achieve that, Gates focused on building strong partnerships with computer manufacturers. He convinced companies like IBM to use Microsoft software in their machines. In 1980, Microsoft struck a historic deal with IBM to provide the operating system for their first personal computer. The software was called MS-DOS, and it would go on to become one of the most important products in Microsoft's history. The deal with IBM was revolutionary. It not only gave Microsoft a steady stream of revenue, but also established Gates as a major player in the tech industry. But Gates didn't stop there. He knew that the future of computing was in software, and he wanted Microsoft to dominate that market. He began developing new products, expanding Microsoft's offerings beyond just operating systems. Word processors, spreadsheets, and business applications soon followed. Gates also focused on building a powerful team at Microsoft. He hired the brightest minds he could find, creating a culture of innovation and relentless ambition. By the mid-1980s, Microsoft was growing rapidly. Gates's vision for a computer on every desk and in every home was starting to become a reality. Then, in 1985, Microsoft introduced Windows, a graphical operating system that changed the way people interacted with computers. Windows allowed users to click on icons and open programs with a mouse, making computers more accessible and user-friendly. The release of Windows was a game-changer. It quickly became the dominant operating system in the market, solidifying Microsoft's place at the top of the software industry. Gates's business strategy was aggressive. He pushed for Microsoft software to be pre-installed on as many computers as possible, ensuring that Windows was everywhere. It wasn't long before Microsoft had captured over 90% of the personal computer market. Gates had turned his small startup into a global powerhouse. His leadership style was intense. He was known for his sharp mind, demanding nature, and unyielding drive for perfection. Gates would personally review lines of code, challenge his engineers to think bigger, and push them to solve problems faster. Under his leadership, Microsoft continued to innovate, releasing new versions of Windows and expanding its product line. The success of Microsoft made Gates one of the richest men in the world. By the time he was 31, he was a billionaire. But his journey was far from over. Gates had bigger plans for Microsoft, and he wasn't ready to stop pushing the boundaries of technology. Microsoft's growth continued at a rapid pace, and Bill Gates was at the forefront of the tech revolution. His vision for a computer on every desk and in every home was becoming a reality. In the late 1980s, Microsoft released new versions of its software, making Windows more powerful and user-friendly. Windows 3.0, launched in 1990, was a massive success. It featured improved graphics, better memory management, and a sleek user interface that made it accessible to everyday users. Sales skyrocketed, and Windows became the most popular operating system in the world. Microsoft wasn't just focusing on operating systems. Gates wanted to dominate every aspect of computing. The company introduced Microsoft Office, a suite of productivity tools that included Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. It became an essential software package for businesses and personal users alike. Microsoft Office set the standard for word processing, spreadsheets, and presentations. It was another major step in solidifying Microsoft's dominance in the tech industry. Gates's vision for the future extended far beyond just software. He believed that the internet would become the backbone of communication and business. In the mid-1990s, Microsoft began to shift its focus towards internet technologies. Gates launched Internet Explorer, a web browser designed to compete with Netscape, which at the time was the leading browser. The move was part of Gates's strategy to make Microsoft a major player in the emerging world of the internet. Internet Explorer quickly gained market share, becoming the default browser for millions of users around the world. Microsoft's aggressive push into the internet space led to legal challenges. In 1998, the U.S. government filed an antitrust lawsuit against Microsoft, accusing it of monopolistic practices. The case centered on Microsoft's decision to bundle Internet Explorer with its Windows operating system, effectively shutting out competitors. The trial was highly publicized, with Gates testifying before Congress. Despite the legal battles, Microsoft continued to grow. Gates remained focused on innovation and expanding Microsoft's reach into new technologies. He invested in research and development, pushing his teams to explore new possibilities in software, cloud computing, and digital communication. Under Gates's leadership, Microsoft launched Windows XP in 2001, one of the company's most successful products. It became the standard for operating systems, known for its stability and user-friendly interface. Gates's relentless drive for innovation kept Microsoft at the top of the tech industry. He was constantly thinking about the next big thing, always looking for ways to improve and expand. His leadership style was demanding but effective. Gates was known for his sharp attention to detail and his ability to foresee technological trends before they happened. By the early 2000s, Microsoft had cemented its place as the leader in software and technology. Gates had turned his vision into reality, changing the way people used computers and connected with the world. But his journey was far from over. Gates had bigger plans, not just for Microsoft, but for the world. As Microsoft continued to dominate the technology industry, Bill Gates began to shift his focus. He had spent decades building one of the most powerful companies in the world, but now his attention turned toward solving global problems. In 2000, Gates stepped down as CEO of Microsoft, handing the role over to his trusted colleague, Steve Ballmer. Gates remained as chairman and chief software architect, but his priorities were changing. Together with his wife, Melinda, Gates launched the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It was a decision that would redefine his legacy. The Gates Foundation was built on the belief that every life has equal value. Its mission was to tackle some of the world's biggest challenges, including poverty, disease, and education. Gates poured billions of dollars into the foundation, making it the largest private philanthropic organization in the world. He focused on areas where he believed technology and innovation could make the biggest difference. One of the foundation's first major projects was fighting malaria. Gates saw the devastating impact of the disease in poor countries and committed to funding research for vaccines and treatments. He also focused on eradicating polio, partnering with global health organizations to vaccinate millions of children. His efforts contributed to a dramatic decrease in polio cases worldwide. Gates's work didn't stop with health. He also turned his attention to education, believing that technology could revolutionize learning. Through the Gates Foundation, he invested in schools, digital learning tools, and scholarship programs to help students succeed. Gates was determined to bring technology to classrooms around the world. He believed that access to education was the key to lifting people out of poverty. His foundation also worked to improve sanitation in developing countries, building clean water systems and promoting better hygiene. Gates's transition from tech mogul to global philanthropist surprised many. He had once been known for his competitive business tactics, but now he was focused on giving back. He often spoke about his belief in the power of technology to solve global problems. Gates saw the world not just as it was, but as it could be. His vision for the future included clean energy, advanced education, and a world free from preventable diseases. He believed that with the right investments, the world could be transformed. Gates's philanthropy was not without challenges. He faced criticism for the influence his foundation had on global health policies, but Gates remained committed to his mission. He continued to work tirelessly, meeting with world leaders, scientists, and educators to drive change. His work with the Gates Foundation became his primary focus, but he still kept a hand in technology. He continued to advise Microsoft and invested in new tech ventures. Gates's journey from tech entrepreneur to global philanthropist was a testament to his belief in the power of innovation and compassion. He once said, "We always overestimate the change that will occur in the next 2 years and underestimate the change that will occur in the next 10. His legacy was becoming more than just Microsoft. Gates was shaping the future of global health, education, and technology, one project at a time. Bill Gates's shift from technology to global philanthropy was not just a personal journey. It was a mission to change the world. His belief in the power of innovation to solve global issues pushed him to explore new frontiers in health, education, and climate change. One of Gates's most ambitious projects was tackling infectious diseases. Through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, he committed billions of dollars to fight diseases like HIV, tuberculosis, and malaria. Gates believed that technology could play a crucial role in improving health care in the world's poorest regions. His foundation funded research for new vaccines, supported clinics in remote areas, and provided resources to prevent the spread of deadly diseases. He also focused heavily on polio eradication. At a time when polio still paralyzed thousands of children each year, Gates pledged to make it a thing of the past. Through mass vaccination campaigns and strategic partnerships, the Gates Foundation helped reduce polio cases by over 99%, bringing the world closer to total eradication. Gates's efforts didn't stop at health. He turned his attention to education, believing that technology could transform how students learn. The foundation funded digital learning programs, built new schools, and created scholarship opportunities for underprivileged students. Gates also advocated for innovative teaching methods, pushing for personalized learning that adapts to each student's pace and understanding. His vision for education was clear: make learning accessible to everyone, no matter where they are in the world. But perhaps one of his most ambitious projects was his fight against climate change. Gates believed that technological innovation was the key to solving the climate crisis. He invested in clean energy solutions, including solar power, wind energy, and advanced nuclear technology. Gates also supported research in sustainable agriculture and water conservation. In 2015, he launched the Breakthrough Energy Coalition, a global initiative to accelerate innovation in clean energy technologies. His goal was simple but bold: to find solutions that would power the world without damaging the planet. Gates also wrote a book called How to Avoid a Climate Disaster, where he outlined practical steps for reducing carbon emissions and achieving sustainable energy. Through his foundation and personal investments, Gates continued to push for global solutions to the world's biggest challenges. His vision extended far beyond technology. It reached into the future of humanity itself. He often spoke about the importance of optimism and innovation. Gates believed that with the right investments in science and technology, the world could overcome its biggest problems. His work inspired many, showing that wealth and influence could be used not just for profit, but for progress. Gates's journey from tech leader to global philanthropist marked him as one of the most influential figures of the modern era. His legacy was not just in software, but in the millions of lives he touched through his charitable work. Gates had proven that technology could change the world, but compassion and vision could make it better. Bill Gates's journey from a curious teenager with a passion for technology to one of the world's most influential philanthropists is a story of vision, innovation, and giving back. His work with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation transformed how the world approached global health and education. But Gates was not done. His vision for the future remained focused on solving big problems. One of his major initiatives in recent years has been the fight against climate change. Gates believed that the world needed to achieve zero carbon emissions to avoid a global climate crisis. He invested in groundbreaking technologies aimed at reducing emissions and creating sustainable energy solutions. His investments included innovations in solar and wind energy, advanced nuclear reactors, and carbon capture technologies. Gates saw technology as the solution to the world's energy problems, just as it had been for communication and business. In addition to his environmental work, Gates continued his push for better global health. He funded vaccine research, supported clinics in remote areas, and partnered with governments to improve healthcare access. When the COVID-19 pandemic struck in 2020, the Gates Foundation was at the forefront of the global response. Gates had been warning about the risk of a global pandemic for years, calling for better preparedness and stronger health systems. His foundation committed hundreds of millions of dollars to fund vaccine development, distribute medical supplies, and support healthcare workers in vulnerable communities. Gates's work during the pandemic highlighted his commitment to global health and his belief that technology and science could solve even the biggest challenges. Beyond health and energy, Gates continued to advocate for education reform. He believed that technology could transform classrooms, making learning more accessible and engaging for students around the world. The Gates Foundation invested in digital learning tools, supported innovative teaching methods, and funded scholarships for students from disadvantaged backgrounds. Gates often spoke about the importance of learning and the role of technology in creating opportunities for all. His vision for education was to bridge the gap between those with access to technology and those without. As Gates looked to the future, his focus remained on solving big problems. He often said that his goal was not just to make life easier, but to make life better for everyone. His journey from Microsoft to global philanthropy showed the world that technology, when used with purpose and compassion, could change lives. Today, Gates is seen not just as a tech pioneer, but as a humanitarian with a mission to improve the world. His work has touched millions, from vaccine campaigns to clean energy solutions, proving that one person can indeed make a global impact. Gates's legacy is far more than software. It's the belief that technology can make the world a better place. His story serves as a testament to innovation, vision, and the power of giving back. Bill Gates's journey from a young tech enthusiast to one of the most influential figures in technology and philanthropy is proof that innovation can change the world. Through Microsoft, he redefined how we use computers, and through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, he set out to solve some of the world's biggest problems. His legacy continues to inspire entrepreneurs, scientists, and dreamers around the globe. As you reflect on his story, remember his words: "We always overestimate what we can do in 2 years and underestimate what we can do in 10." Thank you for joining us on this journey through the life of Bill Gates. May his story inspire you to think big, work hard, and make a difference.